Hey, what's going on, guys? Algin Estacio here with FlytPath.com, and I've done a video similar to this before, but now with the new Platinum and the new Alpine White, I know there's going to be a lot of new flyers out there, so I just wanted to kind of do a refresh video of what to do, what steps to take before you fly and before you take your first flight. So stay tuned, and let's go through some of these top tips. I've actually done a video very similar to this before when I first got my DJI Mavic Pro, the original one, and I just wanted to do a refresh video because there's new ones like the Platinum and also the Alpine White that's been recently released. And there's a couple things that I did in my previous video that don't apply as much as they do now. For instance, like the FAA registration and also worrying so much about the calibration at this point. I am going to be making a full calibration video that talks about some of the stuff that you'll run into in your app and things that you might encounter. So I'll talk about that in a separate video. This one is a really basic video, so if you've already flown a DJI Mavic Pro, if you've had one from before, this will be nothing new. This is really just a refresh video to help some of the new flyers out there. Just check out their Mavic, make sure it's all good to go, and just get it ready before they take it out to the field for their first flight. So if you watched my unboxing of the most recent Alpine White, I did talk to you a little bit about the DJI Refresh program. So if you guys haven't seen that video of the unboxing, make sure you go and click above here to watch that, or I'll also link it down below to watch the unboxing. I would recommend highly looking into the DJI Care Refresh, and like I mentioned, I'll be doing another video about that alone. DJI offers a very great program called the DJI Care Refresh, which I will just sum it up, allows you to, within the first year of purchase, after you activate it, you're able to then, at a very minimal cost, get your Mavic replaced if there's anything wrong with it, if you crash it, if it goes into the water, accidental crash, even, like I said, even if it's your fault, anything like that, as long as you can retrieve your Mavic and send it back to them so that they can inspect it a little bit, you can actually get it replaced for a very affordable cost. And I'll put the link down below, a little bit more about the DJI Refresh as well as on screen, just to show you some breakdowns. But I will go into that a little bit more in detail because there is some nice details to know about the Refresh program that I wasn't even sure and clear about. But after talking to them and finding out a little bit more info about it, it's a really good program to have because you don't necessarily have to purchase everything or purchase the drone from DJI. It could be from a third party, but as long as you set it up after you activate it, you're able to enroll for the program. And if you didn't already activate it within that first 48 hours, you can actually do a video, talk to customer service, do a short video for them to show them that the Mavic is working and in proper order, and then they'll allow you to then purchase Refresh after that. So after you've looked into the Refresh program, what you're going to do now is just take a look at your drone and inspect it. So open out the arms here, the side arms open out, the back arms swivel down and out. And what you want to do is just do a quick glance, look at the body, make sure there's no scuffs or anything like hairline cracks or anything like that. You can remove the battery by clicking on the side buttons right here to release it and lift it up. But really just quickly go through and make sure that everything looks good and there's no visible issues with your drone that looks a little bit out of the ordinary. Because if there was, you just want to make sure that that's documented, and if you have to contact DJI about maybe any issues that you have with it, at least you are doing that before you take it out for your first flight. So if everything looks good on your Mavic Pro, what you're going to do now is charge up your batteries. You're going to want to have a fully charged battery in order for you to do some of the software updates that might be necessary once we install the application and look at the firmware. But what you want to do is pull out your charger, plug in the power outlet to the back side here, and your battery itself, plug that in here and charge this up to the wall. And in order for you to do your remote, it comes with a USB, micro USB on one end, USB on the other. So to charge your remote, there's a little side plug here, which is actually used to connect to your mobile device. You're gonna unplug that, and you're gonna plug in your micro USB to the side of the remote. And then you can either charge this through the brick itself, so on the power brick, it has two USB inputs. You can plug it in here and charge it directly off of this while you're charging the battery, or you can just plug this into any standard USB, whether it be your laptop or any other USB plug outlet. So now that we're all charged up, what you want to do is take your Mavic Pro and flip it upside down. And now we'll go through the actual gimbal and the camera on your Mavic Pro. So if you flip it over, you'll see this kind of a rubber piece, and this rubber piece is kind of a silicone wrap that goes above your dome. Now the dome is really there to protect your camera and your gimbal during transport and to make sure it doesn't bang anything in your bag. So it's to protect the camera. So what you'll want to do to remove this dome is there's a little tab underneath here. All you do is stick your finger underneath there and it'll pop up. And then there's two little hooks up top that clamp onto the inside of the front nose. So once you remove that, and that's, like I said, this is just a protective piece, you do not want to fly with this on. Some people have talked about doing it before, but you definitely do not want to fly with it on, because if you do, it'll restrict the air that's needed to go through the Mavic to cool it down. So do not fly with this piece on there. Some people might think, oh, I'm going to fly with it and it'll protect my camera in case it crashes. Honestly, you're probably doing a little bit more harm to the Mavic, because now, as you can see here in the front, you're restricting the air that goes through. So remove this, and then once you remove that cover, there's going to be a gimbal clamp right here, a gimbal lock. That gimbal lock is designed so that if you're moving your Mavic around, as you can see, the gimbal does not move. It doesn't move because of this little plastic lock. And all you're going to do is pinch the sides and pull it straight up and out. Put that aside, and then as you can see now, your gimbal and your camera will shake and move freely. So once you remove the gimbal dome as well as the gimbal lock, what you'll want to do now is go through and look at the gimbal itself. And this is, in rare cases, I've actually have heard of it, because when it's shipped over, it could get banged around a lot. And sometimes this dome or the lock have popped out and come loose. So I definitely have seen some stories around it, but not too often, that some of the gimbal mounts have come a little bit loose. All you really want to do here is, once you pull that lock off, is just to look down below, and you'll see these little small like black rubber bands. Those black rubber bands are what hold your gimbal mount in place. And what you want to do is just make sure that they look properly in place, which is underneath this little black tab. There's two tabs right here. You just want to make sure that they're under there. They seem to be working properly. So all you do is just kind of shake your Mavic just a little bit to see exactly what it's doing. And you'll see that the camera sits on these little plates, and those plates are attached with these little black rubber bands. And those black bands are basically the shock absorbers for your Mavic. Next, what we'll want to do is make sure that our micro SD card has been properly installed. So on one side of the Mavic right here, there's a little flap. You're going to push this down and out. And what you'll see here is a switch as well as your slot for the micro SD card. To take out the micro SD card, simply press in and release, and it'll pop up a little bit. Then you should be able to take out your micro SD card. It comes with a 16 gig SanDisk card, which is pretty cool. I think they changed the brands, so they weren't using SanDisk before. So they have a nice 16 gig that should be coming with your Mavic. So when I got my Mavic Pro Platinum, all the propellers actually came on it, and it came ready to go. But when I received my Alpine White Mavic Pro, it only had two propellers on it. So if you watch the unboxing, you can see that it came with two sets of propellers that were attached to the bottom, but the top motors did not have my propellers attached to it. So you just want to make sure that your propellers are installed before you take this out. So like I mentioned in my previous video with unboxing, all you're going to want to do is find the extra propellers that are in your box, and there's markings on them. So there's two types of propellers, one with no marking or no white circle on it, and then there's ones with a white ring around this middle area right here. So these just correspond basically to your motors. This motor right here does not have any white ring around it, and this motor does have a white ring. So to install them, get the corresponding propeller that goes onto the motor. All you're gonna do is place that right on top and turn it, and once you're able to turn it, press it down and turn the motor, and once you do that, it'll lock into place. Do the same thing on the other side. White ring on the motor, and it will then lock into place. And now you have all 4 propellers installed properly onto your Mavic Pro. Now that we're all set up with the Mavic Pro, the next thing we'll do is choose a device. So you can actually use an iOS or an Android device. Highly recommend using a fairly newer device that has a faster processor, because you're gonna wanna use that when flying, because you'll be viewing exactly what the drone sees on your device. So you'll want to be able to have a fast enough processor. And I'll go ahead and link down below devices that DJI recommends using to fly with your Mavic Pro. Normally it'll come with an iOS plug here that's connected to your remote. And to install it, all you have to do is install the phone first into that plug. These little side clamps will hold your phone in place, and then there you go. You have your phone. It actually looks pretty nice now. It's like white on white. And if you have a tablet device, there's also tablet holders that you can use. Everything that's on the app will be, everything that's on this screen of the remote will be actually displayed on the app itself. So it is actually okay to cover if you wanted to fly it this way. You'll always want to make sure that you're on the most recent app. There's always updates, there's always bug fixes and things like that DJI will implement into the new releases. So make sure that's always updated. Especially now, we want to make sure that all of the firmware is going to be updated on the Mavic Pro before we take our first flight. So right now it is downloading the most recent DJI Go 4 app. Okay, so now that we have launched the app, the first thing that will come up is you need to activate the Mavic Pro. As you can see here, it says activate Mavic Pro. It goes through the terms of use. You're gonna click accept here. I agree. Beginner mode, make sure beginner mode is on. We'll keep that on until we go flying. Continue there. Confirm my account. So I have my email on here. It is synchronizing at this point. I'm gonna go ahead and activate that. So now that the app is installed, we are all connected. I can actually see, the drone can see, or I can see what the drone sees, which is a really good sign. So everything is connected now. On the top left here, where it says, in this area, it says cannot take off or ready to go, press in this area up top here. And overall status, it says normal, but there's also a warning sign. So if you click on that arrow, it'll say requires update, download update from DJI Go homepage. You can now click the button that says update, download now. I hit download, and it will download the firmware to your device first. Once it's downloaded to your device, it'll then update the firmware onto your Mavic Pro. So now that the firmware is all updated, it has been downloaded and updated onto the Mavic Pro. What you want to do is power everything down and then restart everything back up to see if there's anything else in the app that's letting us know if there's any updates available. That's about it, guys. Thanks again for watching. And if you guys got some value from my video, please don't forget to hit that like button, and also don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell if you want to be notified when I upload new videos to the channel. Make sure you guys watch the 12 tips for first flight, which is pretty much the next video you'll want to watch after this setup video. And that's about it. Let me know if you guys have any questions or comments. Leave them down below. Thanks again for watching, everyone. This is Ultra Estacio with FlytPath.com. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.